At one time, this was a beautiful house, with its big rooms, wide spaces, its huge built-in fireplace, and its hand-crafted French doors. Now gnats swarmed across the heaping piles of garbage in a large room down the hall and to the left, right across from the bedroom. The tall, rotting ceiling leaked brown, tainted water into a bucket, overflowing and warping the floor black beneath it. Smashed-in windows were concealed with gray electrical duct tape, trash bags, and old pizza boxes to keep out the cold. 5 or 6 cats roamed freely throughout the house, shitting and pissing where they pleased. The kitchen was small and dark as to hide the rats and mold in the corners, and the fridge was filled with beer, liquor, and a half-eaten jar of peanut butter. Parties were nightly. Underage teens and overage homeless or tactless adults were the majority of the attendees. The music was loud. However, in this neighborhood it really didn't matter, and even if it did, most cops didn't care. The partiers' forms of entertainment included setting massive, almost uncontrollable fires in the old fireplace, kicking more holes in and writing on the walls, smashing beer bottles down the basement stairs, smoking pot, abusing cats, urinating on the lawn, and the occasional date rape. No one really knew whose house it was. All that really mattered was that the water turned on and the lights worked. This had been the place to be for a little more than 2 summers now, and even the rich kids from across the tracks held it in high regard. It must have been the alluring idea that you were free here and that you could do or get drugs, whatever you wanted. Thousands of dollars were made and spent, but by the looks of the people you'd never know it. You could sense everyone knew this couldn't last forever. Either someone was going to die, or the wrong girl would be raped, and the suburban community would be enraged and shut it down. It was like the fleeting thoughts of a junkie downing as many drugs as he could before the cops burst in the front door. The place was a frenzy, and so out of control that everyone started to take notice. Just driving by the house had become difficult because the madness had spilled out into the street and in every other direction. Reports flooded in about break-ins and other various crimes committed around the surrounding areas. The end was definitely near, but not how it was expected. The last Friday of its life, the house was booming. There were more people than ever before. It had become so packed that you had to push your way through the crowd to get anywhere. The house reeked of dope and body odor from the collective hot bodies screaming and attempting to dance in the crowd. You could hear the floor crack and start to buckle from the intense weight. No one paid any mind. The walls cracked from the pressure of the people being pushed into them. No one cared. And then it was someone's bright idea to start another famous bonfire in the fireplace. People laughed. No one knew what they started the fire with, but it must have been gas or something just as flammable. Fire shot out and up the wall, catching a portion of the ceiling on fire. The crowd put their hands towards the heavens as they sang, "The roof, the roof, the roof is on fire." Flames tickled the walls in the direction of the room filled with trash, and once the fire hit the methane from the cats and garbage, an enormous explosion blasted through the house, blowing away people and walls apart. The people in a panic ran for the door and either were trampled, fell through the floor in front of the door, or burned alive. The age of the wood and ill repair of the house caused it to go up like a tinderbox, and not one person survived that night. You could smell charred bodies and rotten waste for miles. It took the fire department over a day to put it out, and when they did, nothing remained but a hole in the ground. Although everyone in the town, rich or poor, were affected by this tragedy, everyone agreed they were better off without that old house.